Welcome back. We have Esther Wright, who is here on behalf of the Circle of Friends of Laguna Woods, but I just found out that it is an international organization. Well, welcome. Nice to meet you.
Thank you. I'm so pleased to be here to share about the Circle of Friends.
This is great information, and you've got a really interesting event that's coming up, and we'll get to that in just a bit.
Yes.
But before we get into all of this, can you tell me a little bit about yourself and how you got involved?
Okay. So I was an educator for 42 years. I was a teacher, an administrator, and then a consultant and author. And when I retired, like many people, I needed a purpose. I needed something to get up every morning for. Well, I started looking around, and I've always been a spiritual seeker. And I found out about the Circle of Friends and was just fascinated with the information that I heard about it, and the people who spoke about it were very authentic and down to earth and not pressuring or just sharing about this amazing opportunity to get a healing spiritually. So it gave me an opportunity to continue being of service. As an educator, that was my purpose, to be of service to children and teachers. And now I get a chance to be of service to people who are wanting healing. I'm a volunteer in the Circle of Friends. Nobody gets paid. It's a nonprofit. So I have been an educator for many, many years, and now I'm a resident of Laguna Woods, happily sharing this information with other people.
And you've been here, what, about 7 years?
7 years, yes.
All right, so the Circle of Friends has been here since you've been participating with it.
Yes.
And you said earlier that you have about 34, 35 members, but you said they just kind of come and go, and so whenever they feel like being a part of it, they certainly can.
That's right.
Okay, so where did the Circle of Friends all start? So it goes way back.
Yes, it goes back to the 40s and 50s, when after the war in World War II, Bruno Gruning, who was considered a miracle healer, he was very well known in Europe and in Germany, and he felt a need to bring people back to God. He felt that the things that were occurring in the war, the Holocaust and so on, were indicators that people had lost touch with their commitment to God. So he felt that by healing people, which he had the gift to do, that he would let people know that he didn't do the healing, that actually God did the healing. And as a result of that, people would get more connected to God. So I want to make sure people realize that the Circle of Friends is not a religious group.
I was just going to ask you that, because when you talk about God, you think that it is a religious group, but it's more about spirituality.
It's definitely spirituality. And what's important to know about the Circle of Friends is that we have in our group people who are Christian, people who are Jewish, people who are Muslim, and we even have a Buddhist. And so it's for all faiths, because it isn't religion, it is spiritual. And Bruno Gruning, is this the picture? Bruno Gruning was very well known as a miracle healer. He was a humble man who had a gift that people didn't understand, but he wasn't concerned about whether people understood how he had the opportunity to be in a person's presence and heal them. And but people were, of course, very grateful, and so they would come out by the thousands to be in his presence.
Yeah, I've noticed the pictures, a lot of them. So as that transcends through the years, how is it that maybe yourself or other people that are in your organization can do the same type of work? Is it a technique, or what is it?
Great question. So Bruno had certain teachings, which, by the way, are not radical or unusual. They're teachings. I'll give you some examples. Some of the things he shared with people was that there is no such thing as incurable. He felt it was very important for people to realize, if you've been told you have an incurable condition, don't accept that. He did encourage people to go to a doctor or take medication if they needed to, but he said, really, God is the greatest physician. He taught, be loving to people, be a good person. If you go through your life being kind, compassionate, supportive of others, you will be healthy. And that if you want to be healthy, you want to be very conscious of your behaviors and your thoughts. So these weren't like radical, eccentric kinds of thinking. They were very common things that we've heard in whatever faith we're in. And then he taught people how to call in. Now, this is one of the most important parts of the Circle of Friends. He taught people how to call in an energy that is sourced by God, and it's called the Heilstrom. That's a German word that means the healing wave or the healing stream. This energy is available to people 24/7. It takes 10 minutes to learn how to do it, and you can do it all the time.
Huh.
So people in the circle of friends frequently do it. By the way, in our group, because Bruno believed that people have free will, he asked us to honor each other's free will. So if somebody doesn't want to do this practice at home, it's fine.
Right.
If people don't want to come to our meetings, it's fine. So I really like being part of an organization where we don't charge anything. There's no money required.
Yeah.
We have materials, books and things, no prices on them. There's so many things about the Circle of Friends that are what most people are looking for.
Yeah.
But he taught us how to use this energy, this Heilstrom, and it's available 24/7. Anybody can learn how to do it, and so we teach people how to do it.
Okay. You know, it reminds me, some of the things that you're talking about reminds me of the book, The Secret. So you're projecting positivity out into the universe, good things out to the universe,
That's
and it comes
right.
back to you in the same manner. So it's very
Yes.
similar. However, the wave that you're talking about sounds a little bit like, is it transformational meditation?
Well, it's kind of like a lot of things like
Yeah.
that. But you know, there are so many ways to get healing. More and more people are beginning to be interested in complementary and alternative ways to be healed. We showed a documentary film here a couple of times. There's a man on that film who was told he had 6 months to live. He outlived his doctors. He was in the film 20 years after he'd been told because he had terminal cancer.
Okay.
So we know that it's possible for people to be healed. It requires a receptivity. It requires an intention, a strong intention. And Bruno also taught that you have to do your part. So, you know, if people are eating healthy and exercising, and if they have faith, really faith, Bruno talks a lot about how important faith is. And one of the things that's happened to many of us in the Circle of Friends is that we've become more involved in our own religions. That wasn't something I had planned on when I joined the Circle of Friends, but now I'm very, very involved in my own religion. And very grateful for that.
Yeah, yeah. Well, there's a lot going on in the world right now, and I think a lot of people could certainly use some positivity and obviously looking to yourself to, you know, maybe be a happier, more lively individual. So this is a perfect opportunity for people to come to your event, which is on November 10th.
Yes.
And what is going to be happening at this event?
Well, it's a wonderful event, and we're so pleased we have this opportunity because we have a medical scientific group, almost 5,000 physicians around the world that are involved with the Circle of Friends.
Wow.
And what they do is when someone has a healing, they're asked to document it, to send in reports from, you know, to show that they actually had a credible healing that was spiritually involved. And we have never had a medical lecture, and we now are going to have 2 physicians, MDs, who are in the Circle of Friends, who are going to actually describe certain healings. They're going to describe their experience of the Circle of Friends. Now, this is a very unusual thing for an MD, a physician, to be talking about spirituality. In our Circle of Friends group here in Laguna Woods, one of our members is actually a physician.
Wow.
Yeah. So, you know, that's kind of amazing. And so these 2 physicians will be speaking. It's going to be in Clubhouse 1 at 7 a.m. on November 10th.
Excellent.
And we've never had a medical introduction before, so this is very exciting to me.
I like it when Western medicine crosses over and you have an alternative, you know, because you can't just rely just on Western medicine. So I love it. Thank you so much for the information. This is really great news. And, you know, after your meeting, come back and tell us how it went.
I'll be happy to do that, yes.
All right. Thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you for having us.
You're welcome. And if you want more information about the Circle of Friends, you can certainly call the number that's on your screen, and Esther or someone will be able to help you out. We'll be right back.